Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Blocking Scheme. So I'm just sorting out my scene timer in parallel so I can actually keep a timestamp down below. And because it's Tuesday, of course, we are playing the Artisanal Sudoku series, and once again I am featuring the third of the three puzzles that James Sinclair publishes, where you get to choose one of two different solves. There is one that has fewer clues, which is the one that I'm going to be attempting next, and should be a little bit more difficult. I would probably give it like the normal 2-star difficulty rating that we feature on weekends. And then there is one which has additional clues that should be the more approachable variants that we tend to do during weekdays, more like 1 star. So when you get to look down below, remember, two different links. One that would have a label that says extra clues, and you get to pick your own adventure. Anyway, let's take a look at what Mr. Sinclair has been up to today, well, this week, with Blocking Scheme by James Sinclair. Fairly straightforward set of rules, actually, just looking at what we have in terms of the list. So we have normal Sudoku, cages, and Renban. And if you know what all of that means, you know what to do. Links down below. On the off chance that you don't, quick walkthrough, normal Sudoku, place the digits 1 to 9, once each in every row. Every column, of course, without any repeats, and every 3x3 box. So digits to 9, 1 to 9 once each. Cages. The sum of the digits inside each cage is equal to the small number in the top left corner. Doesn't need to say that they don't repeat because all of the cages are contained within the same box, therefore the digits have to be unique. Means these 4 cells, whatever they sum up to, well, whatever they are, must sum up to 27, must sum up to 26, 13, etc. Then last but not least, we've got the Renban lines. So purple lines contain a non-repeating set of consecutive digits in any order. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cell line, that could be, for example, like a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, as long as a consecutive set without repeats. These two cells are in different rows, columns, and boxes, and it may seem like they could be the same and won't actually throw an error, but that is no longer an appropriate Renban line. And of course, you cannot skip digits and just put a 6 in there. They're no longer a consecutive set. Right, as always, to play along, links in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. And I may need to pause halfway through. Apologies if I do. Right, some of these cages, fairly obvious. They are 10 cage, must be 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 cage and 3 cells must be a 1. There's no other way of getting to 10 in 4 cells. 2, 3, 4, which would be the other minimum if there wasn't a 1, would add up to 9, which is too big for the 8. The 22 cages are less exciting in the sense that there has to be a 9 inside it, but you can have two different variants, 5, 8, 9 and 6, 7, 9. If you don't have a 9, 6, 7 and 8 would get you only 21. Now, if this is 9, that would be 7 and 8, and then it would break both options. So let me just show you what I mean by that. The Renban would force 7 and 8 in here, and then I can't place 6 or 7, and I can't place 5 or 8. So I can definitely say this is not a 9. I'm going to keep these as a reference because we've got another 22 cage in here. Same kind of deduction in that there has to be a 9 inside a 22 cage. And again, if this is the 9, actually that's not a problem this time. If this is the 9, this would be 8, 7. Doesn't actually do anything with this 9. Huh. Actually, here's our first digit. Sudoku, Sleuth. Just remember Sudoku. 9 is none of these cells. It's not inside a 10 cage. It's got to be in here. And therefore, these are not 9s. This is a 9, and this is, in fact, a 7-8 pair. Interesting. It does put a lot of pressure, I would say, on this Renban now, in the sense that these two cells are not 7, 8, or 9. That much is obvious. But at the same time, it's none of these 3 cells. So essentially, it's not 3 of these 1, 2, 3, 4 digits, and it's not 7, 8, or 9. So it is kind of very tempting to say that this is a 5, 6 pair. Obviously, it doesn't have to be because I can actually use one of the digits in here. But certainly, one of these digits, the 5 and 6, is on there, which is just not good enough in the sense that We know because it's a 5-cell Renban that there has to be a 5 anyway. So if you think about the number line for a second, and you need to construct 5 consecutive digits, whichever subset of that number line that is 5 cells long will always contain the 5, regardless of which direction you start from. But that is about all that we can say, that one of these 2 cells is a 5 and one of these 2 cells is a 5, and only one, mind you. Which in a way is kind of interesting about what I said earlier, about this being either 679 or 589. Where am I going with this? So options for this Renban: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my options are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this will be very difficult, but doable. In essence, is it? No, it isn't. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't work. Essentially, let me just use colors to illustrate why. If this is purple, blue, I don't know, for the sake of argument, call it green, yellow, and red. Now, sure, I can place red in neither of these 2 cells. It's in here. And obviously, because it's on the Renban, it's different. Where does yellow go? So not only do I need to remove the 1, because I can't create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm pretty sure I have to remove 2. Because just keep using that same logic for both sides. I can only hide one of these 2 in here. I can only hide one of these 2 in there. So in essence, at most, I have 3 and 4, well, plus this cell. So at least I have 2 and 3, unfortunately. So I can actually get away with, I'm just going to construct it to make this easier. If this is 2 and this is, I don't know, 3 and this is, no, that's not what I want. Yeah, it is. And then I can have a 2 in here and a 3 in there. I can get away with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What I can't get away with is the 1. And obviously by putting the 4 on the Renban, it's actually okay. And then obviously I place the 1 in there. Right. All very interesting. I mean, I'm going to leave the colors for a second. It may help us. And obviously, because there's no 9s in any of these, like no 9 in this box, no 9 in here, no 9 on inside the 10 cage, 9 is off the table. So 5 cells now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, includes the 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 includes the 4. So this Renban definitively has 4, 5, and 6 on it. Right, let's just think about this again. So the 22 cage is either 6, 7 or 5, 8. 6, 7 places an enormous amount of pressure on here. I think to the point that it might actually break, because these 2 cells, essentially by removing 6, 7, and 8 from here, I've restricted myself to 2 of the digits, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can only pick 1, this cell. So essentially I would have to put the 5 in here, plus whatever this cell is. I don't know. Look, it feels like I've gone way off track here. I think it's on the crux of breaking. It's just not quite enough in my book. Not quite. We should probably think around. Yeah, so this cell is 5 or 6, isn't it? So what is essentially the rest of this row? I need a 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 2 of them, a 5, a 6. Now this is not 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 7, 8, 9, it's 5, 6. Then remember, at most, I can have one of the 1, 2, 3, 4s in here. And it has to be one of them, because I can't put a 5, 6 pair. It would break this cell. So I have to have one of the 5s and 6 in here. And then this equivalent, this is either yellow or red essentially, in there. And then I ran out of 5 6s with 1, 2, 3, 4 in here. So between the 22 cage, I've essentially used up both 5s and 6s. So I'm going to have to hit the pause button for a second. Right, sorry about that. Back again. I mean, this side is kind of interesting. 27 is fairly large, isn't it? If I don't have a 9, 5, 6, 7, 8 only gets me to 26, so there has to be a 9 again. Sorry about that. I'm getting distracted by something. 1 second. Actually, let me pause. Solve. Did I resume? Yeah, I did resume. Okay. So I was saying, yeah, so there has to be a 9 in here. Let me just clean this up a bit. The 13 cage, how big of a digit can I get away with? I think as big as 7, isn't it? 6 and 7. So, like, I mean, this cell is also like a 5. So I can get away with essentially humongous digits. And then 6 and 8 around it. "26 cage doesn't even have to have a 9. And then a 4-cell Renban doesn't even have to have a 5. Right, this is... not where I want to go, I don't think. I'm gonna just, for sake of argument, put it in here, which we've demonstrated could be in this cell. I don't think we can't be inside the 13 cage, and it can't be in there, so it's one of these 3 in terms of the 9. I focused on how small this Renban can be. And maybe the question I should have been asking all along is, how big can it be? So we've established that one of these is the 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the other one is the 5, 6. What's the other side? Well, it can't be 2 of 1, 2, 3, 4s. We know that much. So I can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've established that. So there has to be another 5, 6. But it can't be both. You see, if it is 5 and 6, it breaks the 22 cage, because 6, 7, 9 is no longer an option, and 5, 8, 9 is no longer an option. Sleuth. But obviously it wouldn't have been 5, 6 anyway. But I could have done... think it through, sleuth, think it through. If I do 6, 7 on one side, and then 5 on the other, and then have 5, 8, 9, that would work. Pardon me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, so remove the 9s, remove the 1s. We've established that much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 and 6 have to both be on here. Yeah. 5 and 6, 4, 5 and 6. We've made that argument before, and then I totally forgot it. Now, I can't make it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, can I? because I don't have enough low digits. So that's off the table as well. So I have these 4 common digits. The 3, the 4, the 5, and the 6 are all definitely on the Renban. And then the debate is whether it's 3 to 7 or 2 to 6. One thing we can say for certain now is that the 1 is not here. We knew that for a while, or there. What I'm half tempted to say is that this has to be the 1. So this cell is the same as that one. We know that. Obviously, it's not the yellow one. Just, that's kind of the setup. So this is yellow or red. But then it's on this side that's the problem. And the fact that, it could be 6 as well. So, but it's not 7 on this side. It's so close. Do these have to be different? Maybe that's the question I should have been asking myself. I think the answer to that is yes. You see, if they're not different, if one of them is 5, 8, well, Sudoku says 5, 8 is not there. It's not inside the 10 cage. It's in here. And then I can't put them both in there. Whoopsie. So this 9 cage, one of them is 5, 8, one of them is 6, 7. So the 5, 6 here means this is the 7, 8 cell there. And essentially these 2 cells will definitely add to 13 because it's essentially these 2 cells. And then the 9 tells us, because essentially these 2 cells, they include a 9, never mind. So one of this 9 is in here, and then the other one, hang on. We said something about both 5 and 6 are on this Renban. So if the 5 is there, that becomes 6. And then 6, 7. And this will become 5, 8, 9. And then this side would have to have the 6. You see, I still don't see the problem with 6, 7. I think that's the challenge I keep kind of bumping into. Anyway, but that's because I'm not respecting this Renban. I feel like I'm trying to solve this in the hardest way possible, and it was probably a much easier break-in than what I've been like butchering in here. Have a look at this. We said these 2 are either 5, 8 or 6, 7. I'm going to tidy up my kind of pencil marks now. Now, this cell is amongst these options in here, 5, 8, 6, 7. But then I need a Renban that continues on from it. So let's just think about options. Now, obviously, if this is 8, that's 7, that's 6. I've broken the puzzle. If this is 8, then it's essentially, this is 5, 9. And then this is 5, 9. And this is the 8. And this is 6, 7. So that can't be 8. What if it's 7? Well, this becomes a 6, 9. And this can't be 8, 9. So this is 5 or 6, is what I'm getting at. Let's just check 6 as well. If this is 6, this is 7, 9. And essentially this would be ascending with a 4, 5 pair. That works. Just remember that. And if it's 5, this is 8, 9. This would be 6, 7. And it's still descending. So this is, it was either 4, 5 with a 6, or it's 5 with 3, 4, and there's always a 4 in here. Now, this 5, 6 is different from this 5, 6, and therefore it's hiding, I'm going to say in here. Essentially, it's this 5, 6. It's this 5, 6. And then we need the other 5, 6, because we have to have a 6 on here, somewhere in there, creating essentially like a 5, 6 pair. I mean, this is not 1, 2, 3, 4, not 5 or 6, it's 7, 8, or 9. And then it's just, again, back to being dependent on what this cell is. If it includes 7 or not. The 5, 6 in here tells me that this is 7, 8, 9. So the 7, 8, 9s, no, yeah, they're both up here. So this is 7, 8, 9. This is the second 5, 6. The 5, 6 pair removes the 5 option from here, keeps that at 3, 4, gives me a 1, 2 pair, tells me 3, 4 on the Renban, gives me a 5 in here, an 8 in there, if I can type, to actually get to 22. The 5 is not on this side. The 5 now is definitely on this side, meaning this is the 6, this is the 7, this is the 5, this is the 8, 9 pair. There has to be a 6, of course, in here. I still haven't solved whether it's 6, 7 or not, incredibly. I'm going to remove this now. I don't need it. Well, I may well need it again, just to explain. I mean, not necessarily just for you guys, but for me. What on earth is going on? And back to this being a 6, 7 pair. And then there's a whole bunch of 1, 2, 3, 4s. We've ran out of 1, 2, 3, 4s in box 3. So this is 5, 6, 9. And then in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus an 8. And essentially, these two cells are down here. How did I make that deduction? Yes, because the yellow and red, one of them is here, the green is there, the green is not here, this is the green, so it's not a 1. The 1 is definitely up here now. Interesting. Meaning that is not a 1. And then the 1 is definitely one of these two slides. It's two options, which I think we knew already anyway. I just didn't kind of make that deduction. And then they're down here. I am absolutely certain, given James Sinclair's puzzles and their ratings, that I am going about this the hardest way possible. And of course, because this is 5, 8, 9, remember that option I showed you where it was 6 or 7 entirely works. It's like no objection up on top. And for all of that logic, which I mean to me feels like an enormous amount, we've earned 5 digits and a bunch of pencil marks. So I think what I need to do, and I admit it's going to be very difficult, is to set aside my obsession with that corner and give myself the space, so to speak, to think about other things. Right, 22 cage. No. So many options. And then 26 gauge has even more options. 13? 2, 3, 4, 5 is 14, so there has to be a 1 in here. A 1 there could work because this can be quite a low digit. So I can't even remove it from here. I mean, the only thing that I can say about the 26 gauge is it doesn't include a 1. Or the 27. I mean, it doesn't include a 2 either because 7, 8, 9 is 24, so I need at least a 3. Let's play with this a bit for a second. Because so 8 and 9 would be 17, and then I would need a 9. So 4, 5 is the minimum because it would be on the Renban. So like I can't even have 1s on here. 1, 2, 3, 4 would break the puzzle. So no 1s in any of these. Like, half interesting. So all these very odd shapes. We've established that there is no 1 in here. I think I've just got the colors the wrong way around. I'm going to just temporarily remove this, call this green, call this blue, say that blue is in one of these 2 cells, call this yellow, call this red. And then the question is whether yellow is in here or not. That's really the question. But it doesn't have to be. That's been the challenge all along. So this is also green. Green is not on the Renban. How did it, oh my goodness. So green's not here. Green is not on the Renban. Green is 2, 3, 4, so it's not 5, 8, 9. This is green. Green is 2. You know how I said I'm going to move on from my obsession? You can see I clearly didn't. So anyway, I need 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, specifically 3, 4, and 6 in here to be able to form a consecutive set. And then this 3, 4 is the yellow one, which is up here, and therefore that is not a 1. This is the 1. Wow. And then this is green, green. Then 1 is definitely in here. This is a 1. These are not 1s. This is a 1. Not 1s. Is a 1. And not a 1 up there. No 1s inside a 27 cage or here. So 1s. No 1s. 1s. I could probably do more with this, but I'm fairly happy how we ended up right now. So I am tempted to move on. Essentially down here there's an 8, 9. There is a 7. There is a 2. Not easy. The 13 cage doesn't even have to have a 2. I could do 3, 4, 5 now. What are you doing to us, James? There's a 1 there, not here. Maybe the question, so like I've ignored a lot of the puzzle, and you know that's my bad. This can't be 2-5 anymore because so this has to be 2-5 because this is not a 3-4 pair. A 2 in here is possible. 2, 3, 4. I mean, you can get away with a 5. You can get away with a 6. It's just not helpful. Let's think this through. If this is a 2, and we've established there are no 1s, this would be 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, let's think about this one now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And obviously this would be the 3-4 pair, possible. And then a 5-6 pair, possible. If this is 2. If it's not and it's a 5, I mean, we still have to have a 6. Well, that's about it, really. This 13 cage contains one of the 2 5s. Does it have both of the 2 5s? If this is 2, 5, that's 7 plus 1, that's 8. It would need another 5, so no. So one of these 2 5s is down here. And then you'd end up with, like, essentially it'd be up there in one of these 2 cells. Now the other 2 5 would be up here, and then it would be down there with one of these 2 5s. Where am I going with all of this? If this is 2, sorry, I have no clue where I'm going with this. So if the 9 is not inside the 26 cage, 5, 6, 7, 8 gets me there. Yeah, 13 and 13. But the Renban, I mean, there will be no 9s, no 9s. 9 would be in here, which is totally fine. Obviously, it could also be on the Renban with... No, it couldn't. If 9 is not inside the 26 cage, it can't be on the Renban because 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, essentially all of the remaining consecutive digits, are here, so it can't be in this cell. So there's no 9 inside the 26 cage. We are indeed restricted to these 3 cells for the 9, which doesn't break anything. It feels highly unlikely, let me put it that way, that there is no 9 inside that 26 cage. Of all the options, I don't know, there's 4, 5, however many options there are. Like all of them except 5, 6, 7, 8 has a 9 in it. So it's unlikely in that sense, but it's not enough. So notice how, oh, the 2 is inside the 26 cage. So I mean, Sleuth, do some Sudoku. So this is 2, 7, 8, 9. No 9s. Is a 9. No 9s. Is a 9. Now the 9 can't be on the Renban because even if I place the 8 on it, the 7 and 6 can't be on it because the 7 is inside the cage. So this is not the 9. This is the 9. That's 8. That's 9. These are not 9s. 7 and 8 would work with 5. In fact, I mean, it has to be 7 and 8, because if there's a 2 and a 7, I'm not going to reach it with a 4-cell Renban. So these are 7 8s. This is a 2. This is 5 6. That's the 5. That's the 6. Of course, that had to be the 5, so it doesn't help me move forward, but I'll take anything. And then there's a 5 in here. Do like genuinely do more Sudoku, Sleuth. That's kind of how we found our break-in, and then I just abandoned it. 1 3 4. No ones is a 1. Not a 1 is a 1. Now, remember how I said that there's a 3 4 in here with the 8. These are not the 3 4s. That's the 5. This is the 3 4. This is again the other 3 4, and this is the 8. I don't need the colors, but I'm keeping them. I've worked hard for these colors. So this cell is now known, and it's 7, which means everything else has to be the minimum, with 2 and 3 to get to 13. And then the 3 places probably an enormous amount of pressure on this Renban now. Remember I said about something about the 2s and 5s? Well, this is now the 2, and then the 5 has to be up here, it's there, and then the 5s means that's the 5. There's another 3 4 in here, and something else, a 7. Let's see if we can do better in this box. 1 2 3 4. I mean, I need 4 6 and 8. I think we can say definitively that is not the 4. And then I have a 6 7 8 triple. 4 6 8 6 7 8. Okay. Down the column now, there is an 8 9 and a 7. That's not here. That's the 7. That's the 8 9 to finish the column. Then there is another 8 9 and a 6. 6s are lining up. 6s are down here, and to be fair, could be on the Renban. I mean, this is 6 8 9 and 4. I'll pencil mark them all. No 9s. Admittedly, could be a 9. Not very good. Where am I going next? One, two. I mean, I did say something about another 3 4 in here, the blue 3 4. No, don't see it. So these Renban, this very short Renban, and I should be using, come on, the 5-cell Renban I should be using, but doesn't include 2s, doesn't include 5s, doesn't include 9s. Doesn't include 1. So the odd digit is either 3 or 7. And it's essentially either a 3 4 pair or a 7 8 pair. So it's essentially either 3 4, because can't be 3 2, or it's 7 8 because it's not 7 6. Oh, it could be 7 6. So that's, well, I mean, it's not 6. How did I put the 6 down here? Yeah, because the 6 is, yeah, so it's not 6. So it's either 7 8 or it's 3 4. And the 3 4, well, that's not the 4. Therefore, that's not the 3. Okay. 36th minute. This is not an easy puzzle today. Sorry, I'm just trying to do some Sudoku, hoping it would do something, but if it is doing something, I'm not seeing it. He says. So we have essentially 3, 4, 3, 4, 7, 8. So this is from 3, 4, 7, 8, except it's not 4, we established. An 8 in here would make this a 3, 7 pair. And then this would be 4 or 8. Again, possible. This is not a 3 because it's on the Renban. That's 7 or 8. So I don't think I can get from 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is not a 2. That has to... Sorry. Yeah. With 3, I can get to 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Barely. So that's 5. That's 7. That's not 7. That is 2. That's not 2. That is 2. That 5 wasn't as helpful as I was hoping. No 7 inside a 27 cage. We'll deal with that in a second. 3, 4, 8 triple. 3, 4, 8, 9. So this is not 4 again. So this is 3, 8, 9 in the row. Don't know what's going on here. Surely it's this Renban that's going to kind of bring it home now, but it's definitely being very persistent, this puzzle. 3, 5, 7 says that these two needed to be 4 and 6 to complete it. I can kind of remove these. That 4, 6, well, it's none of these, it's not on the Renban, that's the 4, 6. And therefore this is 3, 8, 9, and it's not 3, it's an 8, 9. The 4s are here, eliminated in column 7 and 8, meaning that is not a 4, this is 7 or 8. It's a high digit, that is not going to be 3 anymore, so that's 8, that's 7. The 4 is definitely inside a 27 cage, which would probably be useful in a moment, but I think let's just take the rest of these deductions for a second. The 8 is also inside this cage now, and this is the 9, this is the 6. I'm at 17, these need to be 10, so that's another 4, 6. That is not a 5 to get to 10, and therefore that's the 5, 1, 1, not 7, or 1, 7. The blue 3, 4. Actually, the 6 gave me the 4, the 6, the 3, 3, 3, 4. I don't know what these are, doesn't matter. Yes, I do. 3, 4, 3, 6, 4, not an 8, so 9, 3, 4, 3, 8, 9, 8, 4, 4, 3, 4, 6, 9, 8, 4, and 5, excuse me. Something about 9. Yeah, 9. Bad pencil mark 5. I've definitely taken the world tour on this one. There is no doubt that there is an easier path than the one I've chosen. Now, some of them, it's just on me taking so long to see the 2s inside a 26 cage, which forces like an enormous amount. And then the 7, that obviously forced again this. So there was a few things where it could have gone a bit faster if I was doing Sudoku in parallel, which means I'm not sticking to my New Year resolution. But yeah, this was much harder than normal, Mr. Sinclair, at least for me. I'd love to see how you guys got on. So I'm going to be reading your comments and understand how you experienced it. See you back soon. Bye bye for now.